So you found a bug, great! You've reproduced it, you've written it, you've gathered screenshots and video clips, you're doing great! But where do you actually send this thing to get it fixed? How can you tell what's a mission scripting bug and what's just a bug that just happened to occur during the mission? Fear not, my friend, I'm here to help you with this confusion. Well, sort of. Like I say far too often on this channel, it is complicated. But you'll see what I mean, or at least I hope you will, after we are done with the video. Jesus, I even confuse myself sometimes. Let's start with something fairly simple. This is a recording from a recent playthrough that I had from Resident Evil 4 Remake on the PS5. This is a simple visual bug. A tiny bit of floating clutter. But it needs to be documented just so it can be marked shippable or fixed. Now, in some QA departments, bugs are all filtered through management or production, so you might not actually have to worry about this issue at all. If that's the case, count yourself lucky. Or if you're a seasoned veteran, sometimes kinda unlucky. But that's a topic for another video. Quiz time! Looking at this bit of floating clutter, what team would you send it to? A. The art team. B. The programming team. C. The animation team. The answer is D. The design team. Sorry, it was kind of a trick question. That was very mean of me. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Why? So why would you want to send this to level design? Because you'll notice that the clutter itself actually kind of looks fine. It behaves like you'd expect. It's likely a problem with the actual placement of the object in the editor. Side note, have you ever seen a floating object suddenly fall to the floor after the game loads, or whenever the player character bumps into it? That's usually a problem with how the object is placed in the level rather than a problem with the object itself. So a designer would actually have to go into the level, find the object, and reposition it so that it doesn't appear to be floating. This is why debug coordinates are so important to include in your bugs. But let's play what if for a moment. Okay, let's just say we encountered this same object, but for some reason it's actually the collision of the object is what's causing it to appear floating. That bug would more likely be going to the art department instead. Now, a good way to test to see if it's a problem with the object itself and not just this particular instance is to compare it to other instances of that object throughout the game. If it's truly a problem with the object's collision, that behavior would be the same everywhere the object appears. Here, I made a prototype just so I can show an example. Let's say you encounter this model here. When you shoot it and it simply goes poof, no animation, no destroyed model, no sound effects, nothing. There is our bug. But this isn't actually a problem with just this one instance of the mailbox, but rather with the mailbox prefab itself. So every single place you'd encounter this mailbox, it would demonstrate the exact same behavior. If you found a level with 100 of these mailboxes, all of them would have the same issue. It's not 100 different bugs. It's one bug that you're reproducing 100 times. Confused yet? Oh boy, oh, it can get so much worse, my friend. Like if you had the same piece of debris, sort of the same bug, like when you destroy it, it simply pops out of existence rather than playing some kind of animation. Usually smaller destructibles usually do just pop out of existence, but they have a VFX that plays over it to hide its destruction. So if there's no VFX played at all, that's likely something the prop designer is going to have to take care of. And yes, props can often be handled by art or design. So yeah, like I said, it can get very convoluted. Because usually if there's no VFX being played at all, that means something just needs to be hooked up in that variable slot. But what if the VFX does play, but it's just very strange looking? Like it appears as an explosion of pink anal beads instead of, just a bunch of standard charts. But if it is playing the correct VFX and it just kind of looks nasty, that's a bug probably for the VFX artist to take a look at the particle emitters, settings, assets being used, etc. So it's never really as simple as it seems. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with something that seems so simple. Let's look at another potentially complex example. This bug. While being objectively hilarious, it's another example of an issue that could go to a few different teams. Let's try another quiz. This time I'll try and include the reasoning you might want to have for sending it to each team in question. Should it go to the art department, since it's likely a problem with the horse's model? B, the programming team, since the horse's AI is clearly acting in an unintended manner? Or C, the animation team, due to the horse's movements being all jacked up? The answer is D, the programming team. Why the programming team? Unless it's pertaining to the collision that's directly tied to an object, most physics problems, I would say, would end up into the lap of the programmers in charge of the physics system. In this instance, I'm guessing it's a problem with how the horse's ragdoll physics are set up. That could be a problem with the animation team too, I don't know. Could it end up in the queue of one of those other disciplines? Absolutely. Hell, it might be actually a problem with the horse's model or its AI. Hopefully you can see why I've kind of been sheepish about diving into this topic until now. Each bug can have so many layers of complexity and nuance that it's sometimes difficult to tell exactly where a bug should go. To be honest though, you really shouldn't worry too much about it. If you're working in a halfway decent QA department, someone will be there to assist you to make sure that the bug gets where it needs to go. But that's honestly the long and short of it. There's no cut and dry answers in this video. Due to that, I feel sometimes like I didn't really teach you guys very much, other than, the standard, it's complicated. But again, you really shouldn't worry about it. It's a skill that you'll get better at with experience. Now there's a lot about this discipline that you simply have to learn through experience rather than learning it through some bitrate YouTuber who acts like he knows what he's doing sometimes. So with that, I wish you luck in your QA endeavors. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, corrections, anything at all, feel free to leave it in the comments or jump into the Discord and I'll do what I can do to help. Probably, unless I'm busy, or I'm tired, or, I just kind of don't wanna. Anywho, take care and thanks for watching.